You're listening to the Confidence Within podcast. If you are a successful professional entrepreneur who is nonetheless struggling with the fear of public speaking, then you are in the right place. This podcast is all about igniting your inner confidence, learning to show up with genuine authority and brilliance, and becoming the best version of yourself. I'm your host, Victoria Lesnyansky, and welcome to my show. Welcome to another episode of the Confidence Within podcast. Today I wanted to share my public speaking journey with you, because I know a lot of you are exactly where I was at some point in my life, and you are trying to find a way how to finally conquer the fear of public speaking for good. And I think what you're going to find in my story, a lot of parallels, possibly to your own life. And you may start seeing the path that you can take that will help you to learn how to show up with genuine confidence, authority, and brilliance. And I can tell you right away, being a public speaking coach was never my life dream or aspiration. I was so far from thinking that I will ever have anything to do with public speaking. You can't even imagine. By the time I moved to the United States from the former Soviet Union in mid-90s, I was already 22. I just finished college. I already worked for a few years simultaneously for an American company, Occidental Petroleum, in Moscow. And I was very quickly finding myself in this new life. I got my master's in computer science pretty much right away, and I started working as a software engineer. My first few jobs were software engineer, software analyst. I quickly got promoted to management. And at the same time, I always had this entrepreneurial bug, and I pretty much almost immediately started my first company on the side, which was developing websites for small businesses. And so here I was trying to build corporate career and at the same time trying to build my business. And I knew deep inside that I was very good at what I did. I was very confident in my abilities. There were two things that I wasn't very confident about, which were speaking with an accent, which didn't really hinder me, but it gave me a little bit of an insecurity. And my second hindrance was the fact that I'm an introvert. I'm not a shy introvert. I'm social, I'm outgoing, but at the same time, I'm still an introvert. I don't enjoy being out there and speaking to people all the time, which was exactly what I had to do to build my business and to streamline my career. And so I found myself in a place where I think a lot of you are. I was very good at what I did. I believed in myself. I had lots of confidence in my own abilities. But every time I had to present, I had to speak up, I had to give an update, or I have to speak with a client, I felt completely overwhelmed by the fear of public speaking. And what actually made matters worse for me was that I already had a really bad public speaking experience when I was little. When I was still back in the Soviet Union, I was 10 years old. I was in a pioneer camp, which is kind of like camps here, but crazy and with lots of rules that make absolutely no sense. And I was given a poem, a really long poem, to memorize and recite a few hours later at a big all camp concert. We're talking thousands of people, me on stage, reciting a very long poem that I just got a few hours earlier. You can imagine the stress. And again, former Soviet Union, you cannot say no. This is more like, oh, thank you for the honor. So here I was. I memorized the poem. I stepped on stage. I'm all alone in front of a microphone. And I'm so scared that I have absolutely no recollection of a single line. My hands are shaking. I'm all sweaty. My throat completely closed on me. I don't feel my legs. And all I'm seeing is this darkness in front of me with faces, and they're all staring, and I'm staring back. And they begin to giggle because I'm silent. It's been a few seconds. And then finally something comes up in my mind, and I say that line. And as soon as I say it, I realized it was the wrong line. So I stopped talking again. People are outright laughing at me from the audience. I spent a few more seconds staring at them, and then I ran off stage in tears. I was 10 years old, and that really, really stayed with me. Anytime I saw a microphone after that, I would not be able to speak. And I had to. And so I would push through the fear, and I would be terrified the whole time. And I would be so happy when it's over. But I absolutely did not want to have anything to do with speaking in public, ever. And so now I'm a professional, I'm building my first business, I have to speak in public. Again, this is back then, this is late 90s. This is before social media and YouTube and all of that good stuff where you can actually hide behind some things. You had to be out there speaking in front of real people. I basically followed the advice that everybody was giving me. Just push through fear. Just do it. Just practice, you'll get better at it. Just fake it till you make it. I followed all of that advice. I was speaking, I was terrified, I was not enjoying it. I didn't really feel I was doing it right. And remember, I come from the software engineering background. If something doesn't work, you fix it, right? I'm very much a solution-oriented person. So if something doesn't work, I will find a way to make it work. And so I started figuring out that all of this advice I was given just wasn't good advice. And because I continued having speaking opportunities all the time, I had a chance to test it, so to speak. So I would go and talk somewhere, and then I would analyze what I did and how it felt, and I would try something else. And through all of this repetition and iteration, I started finding myself. I started finding my way through the fear. And as I continued trying different variations of what I could do and how I can present myself and what I should tell myself, I started seeing things differently. I started realizing that everything that I was told is wrong, that I needed to change the way I saw public speaking. I needed to change the way I saw my audience, the way I saw myself, and the way I saw that whole experience. And it wasn't like some big light bulb moment. It just was gradually happening, and I was gradually understanding that. And then it became easier and easier. I started really grasping what I was doing right. And I just kept on doing those things again and again and again. Then there was that moment when it just felt so easy. And I'm not trying to be cocky here, like, oh, it was so easy. No, it really was. I just felt that I was walking out there, I was being myself, and I was having a conversation with my audience. By that time, I built another business. I was in a high managerial position in the corporate world, and I was giving presentations all the time. I would be giving updates at meetings in front of all of the higher level executives. I would be presenting in front of almost entire organization of several thousand people. I would be given constant trainings on different things. And then an interesting thing happened. People would come up to me after presentation or after training, and they would say, oh my goodness, you are such a natural, you're amazing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, trust me, I'm not a natural. As a natural, I'm absolutely terrified of speaking in public. This is all me working on it and learning how to find this true confidence inside of me. And people would tell me their story of how they're terrified, they would never ever speak, and how they're missing on career opportunities, and how they got promoted, but now they don't know what to do. They're in this constant stress. I'm hearing all these stories, and I'm like, wait, I thought it was just me. I thought I was so insecure, and I just had all of these limiting beliefs and mindset blocks, and it was just me not knowing how to speak with confidence. But it turns out there are so many people. Practically everyone is experiencing this lack of confidence when it comes to speaking in public. Not the lack of confidence in your work, not the lack of confidence in your abilities as a professional, but really the lack of confidence in speaking in front of an audience. And this is when I decided to look back and to truly understand what exactly did I do to turn things around for me. And again, because I have an engineering mind, I really deconstructed the whole thing. I broke it down. I created a system out of everything that I've done. And the system has become my coaching program, Brilliant Speakers Academy. But the reason I wanted to create a system is because I knew there was a pattern to how I approached me overcoming my fear. And I knew that that pattern is totally teachable, totally repeatable. And so I knew that if I deconstruct this process, if I create a system, I will be able to help so many people conquer their own fear of public speaking and develop their own unshakable speaking confidence. And since then, I helped hundreds of clients. I spoke in front of live audiences. I spoke in front of video audiences. I spoke on live TV. I spoke to sell. I spoke to entertain. I spoke to inspire. And as I look back at my life, I credit a lot of my success to my ability to communicate confidently and effectively. For example, about 9 years ago, I started a company, a franchise, and I started it from scratch in Houston, where I live. And the company was called Nutty Scientists, and it was all about inspiring kids to fall in love with science. So at Nutty Scientists, we did after-school programs and camps and science shows all over Houston, and we were really well known here. And I started building this company while I was still in the corporate, and I built it from scratch to #1 Nutty Scientist franchise in the United States. And I know that the reason I made it so successful is because I was the one who was not afraid to go out there and speak. And if I was still my old self, still scared of public speaking, still not knowing how to communicate effectively, I would not be able to develop the company to the extent that I did. We all look back at some decisions that we've made in our life. And I think my decision to improve this specific weakness that I have, to improve this specific fear, this specific deficiency that I had in my life, was the best decision I ever made. This was the key turning point for me, for everything that I've done later, for growing my businesses, for developing my corporate career. Everything that I've done, every success that I've had, can absolutely be traced down to that one decision that I made to overcome my fear of public speaking. And I would love to help you do the same. So if you want my help with developing unshakable speaking confidence, with learning how to show up as your best, most confident self, how to walk into any room, into any stage, into any meeting, and speak with authority, with confidence, and with brilliance, then go to www.brilliantspeakersacademy.com. This is where you can apply to learn more about my Brilliant Speakers Academy coaching program, and I would love to help you on this journey of finding this unshakable confidence within. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.